Yeah, this Saturn retrograde is going to be what's really interesting, and I really, really feel called to like bring this into like a more grounded state with this retrograde and elaborate on it for you guys, because yeah, this is a bigger picture that's going to unfold for the next couple months as Saturn's retrograde, as Neptune's retrograde. We're going to have a period of Mercury retrograde starting on the 17th. So it's like, it's really like this really weird, like slowdown. It's like pulling the reins back. Yeah, you have so many questions about these retrogrades. Yeah, definitely toss them in the chat. At the end of the stream, I'll probably take more questions because I kind of like to, since this is new on Twitch, I usually go through the transits, kind of give my spiel, and then lots of questions at the end for sure. So hopefully, like when I'm talking about them, maybe I will address your questions before you ask them, but we'll definitely see. So let me get my mic closer to me as I get comfortable. Yeah, I'm feeling the vibes. I feel like professional internet persona. I don't know, guys. I'm just me. No. That was so loud for me on Twitch. I hope it didn't feed through the mic. So Saturn going retrograde, what's really, really interesting, especially these outer planets, right? We've got Saturn, we've got Neptune. Neptune moved into Aries, Saturn moved into Aries, Gemini moved into Gemini, Uranus moved into Gemini, and then we had Pluto last November finally make its way into Pluto. What the frick? My words. Already the Mercury retrograde, guys. This is freaking crazy. Pluto is finally in Aquarius. Oh my gosh, I can say words. That was really entertaining. I can't wait to watch that back. But so we have this sort of like massive shift, and this summer into fall is kind of like this moment of like, oh shit, like this is kind of the glimpse at the new life, at the new expression, at the new experience of what life's going to be like for at least the next 7 years. But these retrogrades are going to pull us back into the last experience that we've had, this more earthy, watery experience, more of this feminine expression, because they were in water signs. Both Saturn and Neptune are going to retrograde back into Pisces, and then Uranus is going to retrograde back into Taurus eventually. We're not going to be talking on that here yet, but we're going to be taking like a step back into this previous expression, but with the experience that we've had in this new experience. And it's going to allow us to kind of be on this integration threshold where it's like you got a taste of the new, and then you're going to get pulled back into this old and really be able to close some doors, close some chapters, look at things from a fresh perspective. I love that feedback, Tanglet, in the Twitch chat. Yay! I'm so happy to have you here. I know this is actually my first time live technically streaming this on TikTok, so I'm really glad that you are here. Let's take a peek. Question is this more of a pause? I'm struggling with learning how to be more emotional. So I'm going to touch onto this question a little bit. So learning to be emotional, it's not something you learn. It's something that's felt. And that's something, as a Aquarius moon native, I've had to really learn, because I really want to like understand things at the mental perspective, but it's a more dropping into the body. So embodiment work has been really, really important for me. And especially, I'm assuming, depending on your own chart and everything that you have within your own natal chart, it's going to be different. And it might be having to pause. At least I always say retrogrades are invitations inwards to reflect, reassess. It's all of the re's. So you're kind of just going on this inward journey and looking inwards. Gemini Sun. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. If Gemini Sun, yeah, you definitely want to understand it on an intellectual level so that you can understand it here. And the way that Geminis move through things is y'all like to talk about your feelings. Depending on your moon sign, depending on your rising sign, that can all play into a different thing. If you've not gotten a natal chart reading, that is something that I do. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. That's why I'm here talking about the transit. So all of my offerings are available, linked in my bio as well. Feelings are called feelings because you feel them in your body. Literally so real, so real, so real, so real and true. I've really had to learn how to drop into the body. Hermit as of right now while healing. Yeah, and that's okay. And I also, especially as a Gemini, I would encourage you to journal. Like, at least still play into that mental process, because that's important for you. That is a part of who you are. So at least writing things out or speaking them out loud to yourself in a mirror, because that is a part of your process too. Thank you all for the likes. I appreciate it. Enter your Saturn return at 27. You've been thriving. Girl, same. Saturn, if you're 27, it's probably not going to hit you directly for another 2 years. So patience, but we're starting to get the lessons. And what I've gathered so far from Saturn and Aries is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Not a sprint. So showing up every single day to your passions and your desires that's it. All right. So let's kind of dive into the transits, because I've been spieling about the Saturn retrograde, and just to kind of wrap that up, really, Saturn retrograde is allowing us to go inwards and take a glance back as Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces. It's really going to pull us back into grounding into these new spiritual practices that kind of came up, especially since Saturn and Neptune are conjunct. This sort of Saturn, Neptune, Aries energy has been all about this new spiritual experience. And it's kind of exciting and explosive and very new. But it really is, we have to ground into it. So with both Neptune and Saturn moving back into Pisces, it's really going to invite us into a deeper part of our inner knowing that's going to create another opportunity for us to add that into our foundation. So you hit yours in May, you're almost 28. I feel like something's up there, because that does not sound accurate from Saturn's in Aries. Saturn's only at 1 degrees of Aries. So we're going to look at the charts here in a second, but I do like to talk about, at least just give you guys a quick glance. Let me pull up my calendar. So any tips for the retrograde? First tip is sign up for my newsletter, because everything that I share here, I will be putting it in a written format on my newsletter. It gets delivered to you tomorrow morning. It's totally free. It's linked to my bio as well. When you sign up for that, I write out all the transits, and I give journal prompts as well for how to integrate and move with these transits that are occurring. Retrogrades, it's about surrendering, realistically. Yes, embodiment sessions are really important as well. Essentially, it's me guiding you back into your body and feeling into the body and moving through the things that are present. I had some really beautiful sessions this week with some of my clients, and it's always rewarding to help others move through those sort of sticky moments. August 15th. I love that. Jaws. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong too. It also depends on the astrologer. It depends on which house system they use. If they are more of a sidereal astrologer, or focus more on traditional astrology. There's so many different modalities with this, and I'm open to being wrong as well too. So I love that openness. So as far as for the week ahead here, I love that, Aaliyah, in our Twitch chat. Show up every day. Say it louder for the people in the back. Seriously, Mars is in Virgo right now, guys. Literally use the shit out of that. And it's going to be moving over the South Node here soon. And it's going to pull in some really cool stuff and purging. So, oh, wow. I was looking at the wrong week, which is really fun. Guys, I'm already prepping for next week. So on July 17th, Mercury is going to station retrograde. On the 18th, Mercury and Venus will be sextile. And then Saturday, the 19th, the Sun and Chiron will square each other. And those are basically the massive transits that are happening exact this week, at the exact point. So that's going to be happening soon, which is so fun. When I'm talking about transits, I want to invite you guys to understand that with astrology transits, very similar to how the moon ebbs and flows. It comes to full illumination and then it wanes into a new moon and then waxes into a full moon. You know, it goes through that process. Same thing happens when we're looking at any astrological transit. There's a buildup, an exact conjunction, and then it will ebb. So when I'm talking about these exact points that are happening here, I'm talking about the peak point. So we may be feeling these coming up. Okay, so you might be feeling these days ahead. Like if you were just here, like, I don't know, what was it, 7 minutes ago when I was just stumbling over my words. I'm ruled by Mercury. I'm a Virgo rising. And yeah, that's why this account here on TikTok is called Mercury, 8th house Mercury, because I'm ruled by Mercury. It's in the 8th house. And then, yeah, Astremia is mostly my brand name. Okay, so Saturn went retrograde. Yeah, as soon as that, yeah, you'll be definitely feeling those sort of buildups of transits before they actually hit. You'll feel that sort of like pressure bubbling up. It's kind of like steam in a pot, like if you have a lid or like on a kettle, like you'll feel that buildup before it releases. Yeah, me and your partner don't get along on Saturdays. And oh no, it's very interesting that it's that specific day. Very interesting observation you've got. And thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it. All the activity. So I'm going to be sharing my screen on TikTok. You guys won't be able to see some of the things that I'm drawing on the chart here, but if you do jump over to Twitch, you'll be able to see all these things that I'm doing. For right now, for whatever reason, since I'm streaming for the first time, even though I've streamed before on this account, I think, it won't let me share my desktop screen. It will only let me share a window. So yeah, that's happening. So we're gonna see if we can get this going correctly. For my Twitch babies. Hi, there we go. Transiting over to there. We'll see if this works. Let me get the sources going correctly. There we go. Cool. Wow. I am so good at my job. So tech savvy. So on it. Yeah, so this is the 15th. We're going to be jumping ahead to the 17th because that's when Mercury, again, I'm going to be stumbling over these things. So I'm going to skip ahead 1, 2, and we'll shift this to hours. And I want you guys to keep an eye on Mercury here. So Mercury is right here for both. Oh, what? I just got a flag on TikTok. It says your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it contains unoriginal or produced. Oh, it's probably because I'm dual streaming. They don't like that. That's so funny. Whatever. How interesting. I don't know why we cap things like this. Whatever. Okay, so that's the sun. We don't need to look at the sun. Pew. So keep an eye on Mercury. We'll jump ahead and you'll see that the color actually changes to red once it goes retrograde. So we're moving forward a couple hours. Boom, hits retrograde at about 10 p.m. PST on July 17th. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? So as I'm looking over here at my other monitor, so if you see me looking off to the side, it's just because I'm looking at my other monitor. Y'all. Oh my gosh. Thanks Tinglet for the hearts and the roses. So Mercury is going to be retrograde from July 17th to August 10th, right? And Mercury retrograde is something that is spoken about very often, truthfully. It's a common occurrence. Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. So That's what happens. So rest in peace me, because it's in my 12th house, and so words are gonna be so funky. But so it's gonna be retrograding from 15 degrees of Leo back to 4 degrees of Leo, so it's gonna be staying within those first decans of Leo. So what this retrograde asks of you, because if we break down the archetypes of Leo, right, if we actually like take it layer by layer, we have the archetype of Leo, right? Leo is the social fire sign. It's like a campfire. It is something that we all want to move around, express in, and allow ourselves to be seen to the full illumination. So Leo is also ruled by the sun. So this, what's going to be interesting and how we kind of move through understanding deeper nodes of astrology is if we take a look over here and we look at Mercury and we look at the sun, because this Mercury is in Leo, and of course on TikTok you can't see me drawing, so hi Tasia. Saturn is already retrograde by this time, because you guys can see on TikTok, or not TikTok, on Twitch, this is the 17th I'm looking at. So Saturn is already retrograde, and same with Neptune. Any of them colored this like red color, that means they're retrograde. Okay. So we're talking about Mercury here. So Mercury is moving retrograde and is going to be ruled by the sun. So the first half, so about from the 17th until the sun moves into Leo, which is going to be end of July, this Mercury retrograde is going to feel a little bit more emotionally and deeper, because it's ruled by the sun in Cancer. So there's going to be a lot of feelings involved. So you're back. You fully entered it. It's August 2026. I was gonna say, I was like, girl, I don't think your Saturn return's happening yet. So I'm glad you went and checked, so you don't have to panic just yet. And also, Saturn returns aren't anything to really panic about. It just happens. You just have to show up. She's never seeing $1 again. Oh my gosh. A fucking man, girl. So this Mercury retrograde in Leo is really asking us to reflect on where in your life have you been playing a role rather than living in your truth, because Leo tends to be more about a performance from the unconscious perspective, right? From that unconscious place. And so when we are moving retrograde, we're reflecting back inwards. It's kind of like having a mirror, right? It's allowing us to really settle into that energy of reflecting it back. And it's allowing you to see, are you wearing a mask? Are you pretending? Leo always brings in sort of theatrical or theater-esque sort of reflections here. Oh, yay. I love that, Angel. Dear God, I think I'm shedding all the roles and being more authentic. Thank God. Because we want you to be authentic. That's what we want. So this is sort of the thing where it's traveling back to the boldest degrees of Leo, which are the first couple degrees, where it's kind of in that more novice area. So it's kind of going back here. This is where you're looking at where you crave to be seen, where you crave to be celebrated, but we have to recognize that the spotlight, because Leo again is all about wanting to be seen on some sort of like big expression level. Sometimes that's not authentic, right? Like you're saying here in the TikTok chat, sometimes it's not authentic. Sometimes it feels very like performative, and I feel like that's kind of been something I've been repeating a lot in my sort of live streams lately, is this sort of a desire to look closer at what is it? I lost my train of thought because I saw Tasia join the TikTok and I got nervous because she's watching me. Definitely scary, more along the end of June. Yeah, childhood stuff for sure coming up. This is the ability. It's kind of giving me the energy of, it's like if you had a script for the movie of your life. And the way I navigate astrology is through a lot of analogy, through a lot of like storytelling. I find it really important to add tangible things into what I'm sharing with you guys, because otherwise sometimes we don't grasp it as well. And if you guys don't know all of me, my background's in teaching, so I have a desire for you guys to really, really understand what I'm saying. So this Mercury retrograde is feeling like, at least what's coming up in my mind's eye is like, it's almost like you have a script for a movie right now, and you're going through, and these retrogrades are letting you like remove parts and edit things, because you've been on this performance part. You have been actually like in the role, and now with Pluto retrograde, right? So if we look here on my screen, if you're on TikTok, you won't see me drawing on it, but you'll see my mouse. We have Pluto here, retrograde. We have Saturn, retrograde. We have Neptune, retrograde. And then we're going to be having Mercury go retrograde as well. So 4 planets all pulling us back to kind of review the script of our life. And seeing like, are we actually moving in the direction that we desire? Is this actually the way we want to go forward? Right? You know, this isn't a setback. Retrogrades are actually some of my favorite times, because it encourages that sort of hermit time. It encourages maybe some difficult conversations. It's almost like there's more tension here sometimes, because everybody's kind of on that reflective path. And so when you're constantly on that inward journey and you meet another person and it's like you're both kind of going inwards, you're like, oh, how do I bring myself out of this sort of reflective period and meet them where they're at? And it can be kind of interesting. And then there's the surface level stuff with retrogrades where it's like, technology is not working, or things don't go according to plan, but it's almost intentional, because it's really having you see and reflect on how you navigate sudden change or changes in plans, or like for TikTok, you guys didn't see this, but earlier my stream totally just like cut out. And it's like, how do you navigate that? I could have had a full meltdown and not go live again. That's an option, but you know, I'm not in that space anymore where those sort of things kind of disrupt me. So retrogrades really bring in this opportunity for you to get closer to yourself. And sometimes that's more on a personal reflective level, or there's going to be external circumstances that really bring things to your attention to move deeper into. Yeah, growth. Exactly. So as we're in this is really the opportunity, this Mercury retrograde. Again, it's going from 15 degrees of Leo back to 4 degrees of Leo. And so by August 10th, it's going to be opposing this Pluto, which is going to be so fun. By fun, I mean maybe not so fun, but really cool in the way that emotional development is cool. Like, let's make emotional growth cool, right? Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. And thank you for everybody who's liking the live stream here on TikTok. I appreciate it. Means a lot for my first astrology live stream. So this retrograde is really inviting us into from performance to presence, right? You don't have to show up all figured out. And I feel that's sort of something that Leo energy tries to perfect. There's a rainbow outside. Oh my gosh, send a picture in the Discord. And for those of you on the live stream on TikTok, I have a Discord community, if you guys are interested in joining. So this is sort of like the opportunity for you to check where you've been trying to impress people or show things instead of expressing your true authentic self, similar to what we've been sharing here already in the chat. And I love hearing your guys' share, because it's really affirming for like, this is what's present right now. You know, where has your sort of charisma, that's a big Leo word, become sort of a mask, where it's kind of like you want to be wanted or want to be liked so badly that you're willing to sacrifice the depth of your feelings for acceptance. But why would you, oh, my left ear's ringing. Why would you want to be accepted by people who wouldn't want the real authentic part of you? Let that land for a second. Yeah, and that's a beautiful path to be on, Angel. I want to give you props for that. Like, it's it's a never-ending journey, I'd say, from my experience at least, and my journey, but it's so worth it because now I finally have like some really beautiful people in my life that like me when I'm messy, that like me when I'm a brat, that like me when I'm all of my expressions, and it feels really good. And it feels good to be able to have those human expressions. Yeah, masking is exhausting. It really is. It really is. It's so funny. The TikTok application keeps telling me that I'm not being active on this right here. So this is inner child territory, and this is something that's been coming up a lot, is that sort of inner child expression, especially soon the sun's going to be entering Leo. We'll talk about that when that's happening, but this is kind of the opportunity to have an inner connection with your inner child. And I really want to do some recordings on like how to connect to that. So there's so many things I want to create and do this, but I need to get out of my own way and just do them, right? You guys bug me, poke and prod at me, to do the things. So, you know, Leo represents the heart, it represents the inner child, and there's sort of this opportunity to reconvene with your inner child and see like the imagery that I'm getting in my mind's eye, and I love seeing the things, is it's kind of like I see you guys on like a pirate ship together for whatever reason, and it's like it's kind of like you're having a meeting with your inner child and making sure that the course that you're charting is going the direction that is actually deeply fulfilling to your heart. Yeah, thank you for that permission, Angel. I really appreciate that. I'd be resting, sort of. Are we doing chart readings? Sharky Poo, we are not doing chart readings. We're talking about the astrological forecast for the week ahead. So that is what we're doing. But if you're interested in chart readings, I have those available. It's linked in my bio. It's more of a one-on-one, deeper connection because personally, I think putting your chart on blast for a bunch of people to watch is kind of maybe an invasion of privacy, in my opinion. So, I'm probably never gonna do that. Yeah, my sessions are deeply private because of the fact that I go deep with my readings, and you might not want your deep, dark parts of yourself exposed online. Yeah. I'm like, it'd be cool to do like, I think what would be really fun to do, and this is something that I think's entertaining, is to roast people off of their natal charts, because I think it's really funny. But because as somebody who, my background also includes trauma-informed care, sometimes as an astrologer, I can see some really deep themes within people's natal charts, and it's not something I want to expose to the internet. How much are my readings? Yeah, I do expose people. Both Divine Phoenix and Tanglet have gotten readings from me, which have been super fun. They are $147, $49, correct? I don't know. But you get a recording of it. You get all of this beautiful stuff. Yeah, I know. See, I would love to just be a meme channel. That would make my life so much easier. I feel like I'm a living meme. Okay. I feel like I've talked a lot about this Mercury retrograde. Anybody have any questions before we move on to Friday and Saturday transits? Like, how do I want to... A lot of fire imagery has been coming up lately in my collective readings as well on my TikTok account. And it's really been like sort of understanding your inner flame. And there's this retrograde is really going to invite you to tend to your inner fire instead of... It's like I see a lot of us right now trying to fan other people's flames instead of like tending to our own fire. So, what's one practical tip for moving through it? The only way out is through. We just got to go through it. I would say, as far as tips for Mercury retrograde, I'd always say, and this, I feel like this is basic conversation etiquette, but some people don't know it, but it's like, I really invite people with Mercury retrogrades to actively listen. You don't have to have a response immediately to people. And I feel like that's such a built up thing within our society that you must immediately respond, that you must immediately have an answer, right? Active listening is going to be really key here. And on the receptive end of somebody actively listening to you is being okay to sit in the silence of them not having an answer or them not responding immediately, and like be okay with that, right? Yeah, Aaliyah, it's always she said it always feels like a mindset thing a bit, you know? It really is. It's sort of recognizing that maybe everybody's kind of in this interesting crunchy space of communication being a little haywire. So if we can have a little bit more gentleness, a little bit more of an intuitive, like, this is what's present right now, and other people might be feeling it more deeply than me, especially our Gemini risings and Virgo risings are ruled by Mercury. If you have Mercury within Gemini or Virgo, you'll be feeling that probably a little bit more significantly. If you have any planets in Leo from 15 to 4 degrees, you might be feeling that a little bit more. So again, yeah, patience is key for sure. With this, it may be a little interesting, but what's coming to mind is, how would your inner child respond to conversations? You know, I think of like if you were in a conversation you didn't actually enjoy, as an adult, we just sit through them. My inner child would be like, I'm bored. I gotta go somewhere else. And it kind of feels like maybe just honoring instead of like putting on an act to be around people or to perform for people, just being authentic of like, yeah, I'm gonna take some space. Ooh, you've been in some yeah. Like for example, today I had went to a winery and they had like a sort of craft fair going on at one of them, and there was this girl showing she had really cool oddities, and she was telling me about her shop and whatnot. And like, it got to that weird conversational point where it was like, I knew I wasn't going to purchase anything from her. I thought what she was doing was cool. And so I was just like, I gave her my name and said it was nice to meet her, and then walked away. Which I feel like was the proper thing to do, but there was a weird social like tension, but it's like, it's okay to like step away when you want to. So okay, gonna clear the screen for my Twitch people. Let's go ahead and move this forward a day and take a peek at the 18th. So we are gonna have this Mercury retrograde now sextile. Where's Venus? Sextile this Venus in Gemini, and we'll be feeling this a little bit. Let's switch this. Not minute, hour. What? Let's get Venus to 15 degrees. Hold, please, as I go back. Thank you for everybody who's being present, who's hanging out, liking the stream, hanging out on Twitch, hanging out on TikTok. TikTok made me get in trouble for having my live stream all weird. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Cool. I'm getting rewards. I feel like we might be creating new, social experiences for sure. It's like, I don't know. I feel like the whole performative act is just so silly. Where's Venus and Mercury? Boom. So Venus is at 15 degrees of Gemini. Damn, Venus is moving fast. God damn, she's fucking going quick. That's actually wild. She literally just moved into Gemini like 2 weeks ago, so she's cruising. She'll be in Cancer soon. That's exciting. So this is on the 18th in the afternoon. Sextiles are positive energy flows. So this is kind of a moment of levity amongst the intensity of like everything else that's going on at a collective level. Can you feel the love? You know, this is definitely a reflection in this love space. Sextiles, like this one specifically is bringing in this like inner dialogue, because Mercury, again, retrograde, so internal, and then Venus is our planet of love, of values, giving and receiving. And this in Gemini, it's very, very vocal, and so it's going to be interesting, this sort of polarity that we have, because Mercury is retrograde and Venus is in Gemini, which technically is ruled by this Mercury retrograde. So it's almost, I kind of get this feeling that like whatever's been stuck in the throat chakra is going to have the opportunity to move through a little bit, especially within the love realm, right? Sextiles are opportunities. This retrograde brings in the introspective fire, right? Looking at our inner fire. And Venus in Gemini kind of brings in this sort of air-like, breezy quality and curiosity. So it's almost like, it feels like a rekindling of an inner flame within yourself. I like that. Some are loving. Maybe we move, communicate with actions. I'd say actions would be more akin to Mars here. This feels more like actually, I feel like because Sun's going to be squaring Chiron as well. This whole week is really feeling like, especially with all these retrogrades happening, it's kind of this look at old structures, old wounds, old pieces, and being able to express them in the present moment of whatever's transpiring. This one, like past conversations or connections, can definitely surface. A lot of people say like, Mercury retrograde, your exes are coming back, and I don't really attest to that. I've had experiences like that. More Venus retrogrades, I feel that. And so this connection to Venus here might be past conversations, maybe about past lovers or past love with people that are present within your life. So they may resurface in the realm of like actually moving through what took away your inner fire, what stifled your inner flame, what stifled certain things and certain parts of yourself. And it's more of this like, how can you add a little bit more liveliness to this? How can we bring more lightness to the conversation? It's great for like revisiting old writing. So if you journal a lot, I can see this being really, really beautiful. This could be a reflection on your connection with your inner child. Again, Mercury's retrograde in Leo, which brings in that childlike energy. So really like this reflection period on parts of yourself, and using it as an opportunity to look at like communication styles where they haven't worked in the past, with specifically, I'm going to say, romantic connections, or those who you're deeply connected or involved with. So it feels kind of exciting, and it feels really healing and necessary for setting the groundwork for what is to come, especially with our Leo new moon that's the following week after. So yeah, cool. I feel like I've been live forever. I don't even, oh gosh, I've been live for almost an hour. I'm reaching my threshold, guys. My social threshold. So we're going to talk a bit more about this Sun square Chiron. With this year, is it normal for people to fall away? Yes, absolutely yes. And it's going to be interesting because some of those people that have fallen away may try to come back, especially when the planets retrograde back into those feminine signs, like Saturn and Neptune retrograding back into Pisces, and then eventually Uranus will retrograde back into Taurus. But like, we're literally entering an entirely new experience with our outer planets being in new signs. So it's not surprising that a lot of old things have fallen by the wayside, whether it's people, places, jobs, things. It's almost like really shaking things up for a new groundwork to build a new life on. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Again, with everything that I'm sharing here on this live stream, I put on my newsletter. So if you are not subscribed to my newsletter, it's linked in my bio on TikTok. And then if you are on Twitch, I'm going to send that there. If you guys subscribe there, everything that I share here is going to be written out in tangible form, so you guys can read through it tomorrow morning and kind of have those insights. I add journal prompts, I add things in, so you guys are ready to go. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that I'm actually going to be sharing some really exciting things with this newsletter, so definitely subscribe. I love it. I love writing. I love sharing what's going on and just making sure everybody's kind of up to date, or like has like giving you guys a touch point for the week ahead. So you've met friends, and a few weeks or months later they're like, bye. You know, Angel, I've experienced that personally as well, and I'm going to say that rejection is divine protection. So take it as a gift that these people are stepping away, and continue to invite yourself to get to know yourself, so you can bring that part of you forward and actually have people that want the real part of you. All right, let's move forward one day ahead so we get that exact Sun square Chiron. Okay. Woo-wee mama. This one's going to be a moment. So on the 19th, we are going to be having the Sun in Cancer square Chiron in Aries. Yeah, sometimes it's not bad falling ways, but it can be just like, yeah, maybe not a match. Hey, Twitch chat, y'all there? Y'all alive? It's so funny. My vibe check that I did for you guys crashed the stream. That was so funny. Anyways, so Sun in Cancer, last degrees of Cancer, which is really potent. Those last couple degrees of Cancer are always like this deep feeling, this deep intuition kind of coming to the surface here. Chiron, if you're not familiar with Chiron, I feel like anytime I bring up Chiron, I always tell his story, but Chiron is the wounded healer. It is the part of you that heals itself by tending to other people's wounds that are similar to yours, and sometimes you don't fully get that wound healed. So this is our core, our ego, our identity in Cancer is squaring this wound in Aries, which has to do with the self, right? So the square kind of pokes at our identity wounds, which if we're already looking at those with Saturn and Neptune retrograde, with Mercury in Leo retrograde, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. If we weren't already looking at our identity wounds, we're going to be really looking at our identity wounds. This is so fun for this weekend. I'm so excited for this weekend and looking at our identity wounds. This is gonna be really fun. So yeah, especially like the Sun at 27 degrees. It'd be wild if somebody had their moon really close to those degrees. Yeah. So this square definitely brings those up, especially conflict between needing care, Sun in Cancer, and needing to be brave, Chiron in Aries, right? Whew, yeah. So with I just heard like the little sing, like what is it? It's like it's somebody like singing about their dog like doing hard things or whatever. I don't know. It's a TikTok thing. Not the identity wounds. I know, rough. I'm done. I'm secure in myself. So this Sun wants the Sun in Cancer really wants us to protect and nurture and to sort of keep us in this really soft space, whereas Chiron in Aries wants us to push through and pioneer and like just get to the like core identity wound. It's really like pushing. And so the tension is feeling like we're not enough, especially when we need softness. Yes, Aaliyah, it's the she's so brave and well behaved, she's not afraid. Yeah, it's that one. That's literally us singing. That's like the motto for this transit. Definitely. Thank you again for the likes, you guys. We're at 7.7k likes on TikTok, which is really cool. It's time to be soft and brave. Yeah, it definitely is time to freaking rip your heart open and let it be seen. But actually though, guys, it's so funny having like two streams open. I like look at this one, I look at this one, and then I'm looking over here. I feel like a movie star. Cancer brings in levels of family dynamics that could be specific for some of you guys, and especially early emotional conditioning, right? This is sort of the way we learn to navigate our emotions. It represents that sphere. It might get triggered, especially around the need to be strong versus the need to be held, right? It's sort of this push and pull. And I've really personally been witnessing that in my personal life with my relationship with my mom. And we've been able to kind of dive deeper and dig into those sort of patternings that come from our maternal line and getting closer to that. But it really is a thing that's present, especially in our society right now. A lot of people are kind of leaning the hyper independent route. At least I can speak for myself there with that one. There's an opportunity for like self-parenting or relying on connections to allow yourself to open up, choosing self-compassion instead of self-abandonment. And I want to invite you guys to look at what self-abandonment can look like for you. Yeah, thank you, Angel. I appreciate you stopping by. This was super sweet to have you in the space, and I'll be live. I actually won't be live next Sunday, but if you subscribe to my YouTube, I'll have a pre-recorded live stream, or not live stream, a pre-recorded video where I talk about the transits on my YouTube, so that you can grab those there, and I'll have my newsletter that comes out the day after. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so when we think about self-abandonment can look like saying you're going to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and then not doing it. That is a way that you confirm to yourself, like, hey, I can't trust myself, right? Where are you letting yourself be left behind by yourself? I kind of had my own personal reflections on that lately of like, yeah, where am I abandoning myself? Where am I not showing up for myself? So this square, again, this is tension. This is going to feel like friction within what's going on in your life in those realms, right? So let yourself grieve old roles. Let yourself grieve the sort of structures that you've been brought up in and patterns that don't work anymore, right? Grieve the fact that maybe you've had to carry specific burdens for your family lineage, or for your parents, or for your friends, or for your lovers, also forgiving yourself for being the type of person that didn't ask for help. Healing happens when you let yourself pause and reflect. And it really feels like the rest of this summer into fall is going to be our opportunity to deeply, deeply reflect. So it's, yeah. It's all very, very relevant. I can speak words. Oh, this Mercury retrograde's gonna really get me. I know that for sure. But it feels like a good week for us to really just... It just reminds me of sitting back and being open to surrendering. And I'm gonna jump back to the chatting screen. So we are here and jumping back here to here. Because I just want you guys to have my face. Hi, Gabby. Gabby, you missed everything. Just kidding. Kind of, but it'll be anybody who's watching, just joining. This will all be uploaded to YouTube later. But I had a whole point that I was going to make. Let me see if I can look at the chart here again and see if it'll come back. I was like, let me lock onto my God, I can't read, guys. Yoga, so as to not abandon who I am and who I'm becoming. Yeah, daily practices right now are so important. Mars is in Virgo. The day-to-day things are so powerful, so important, so important, so important. I can't press that enough. There was a whole point that I was going to make and wrap this up in a beautifully knit bow. Oh, I was thinking about something that one of my mentors brought up when we were sitting in a meditation, and just like having your hands open to receive, right? And just the act of like, even in a meditation, sitting with your palms open. And I've had to notice this for myself as well. Even sometimes when I sleep, I'll curl up my fist. And so I have to like really like let myself soften. And there's this sort of notion that comes with like self-development, self-growth, self-realization, all the things, and did I say reflection? I don't even know. But we get to this point where we're on that journey, and we think that when we get to a certain point, and at least I can speak for myself, I'm thinking I'm going to get to a certain point where like things aren't going to hurt and things aren't going to be hard anymore because I'm so developed and I know how to operate and I know how to navigate these things. And the truth is, what I've come to realization for myself is you just become more aware of how it feels and how it moves through your body. And sometimes you just have to sit with the process, and sometimes you get the opportunity to just be with the intensity and be with the feelings and be with whatever comes up, but you have more of an awareness around it, so you can't run away from it, you can't hide from it, you can't numb from it, and that can be really, really intense. So there's a lot of, compassion I want you guys to have with yourselves as we enter this retrograde period. And allow yourself to be in a space of willing to be humbled, maybe, and willingness to learn more. It's kind of like, I don't know, again, emotional masochist here, where I really like the lessons. And maybe I need to stop saying that, because maybe I keep calling in some crazy lessons, but it's good. It's good to allow yourself to recognize your capacity. So, questions, comments, concerns? Again, our transits, let me bring up my little calendar that I like to read from. Oh, cool. Sick. My platform I use is gonna give me more stuff. I love it. So, thanks for the likes, you guys. Clear as mud. Come on, stop it. On the 17th, Mercury stations retrograde. It's going to be retrograde until August 10th. On the 18th, which is Friday, Mercury is going to sextile Venus, which is going to really allow us to kind of touch back on old conversations, old relational patterns, and kind of communicate and fan the flame in a more healthy way. On Saturday, the 19th, the sun will square Chiron, which is going to bring up some tender parts of our hearts that really want to be held. It's that sort of tension between wanting to be held and wanting to, be brave. So, and then just a little peek into the following week. On the 22nd, the sun's going to enter Leo. The 23rd, Venus will square Mars. We're going to have sun sextile Uranus. We're going to have on the 24th, the sun trine Saturn, sun trine Neptune, new moon in Leo on the 24th. There's a lot happening. And then sun opposing Pluto. Yeah, there's new moons opposing Pluto. I saw that last night and I was like, I can't with this. So that's it. That's all. I'm really stoked for everything. I'm so excited. I'm excited for it all. All right. TikTok people, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Time to face my identity this weekend. Me too. Me too. I'm so excited for this weekend. It's gonna unveil. It's gonna crack people open. It's gonna be so great and exactly what everybody needs. All right, TikTok people, subscribe to my newsletter. Go after this, go into the link in my bio, go there, plug in your email so you can get onto that, and then subscribe to my YouTube for next week's live stream, because I will not be going live next weekend. I'm not going to be home. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be at my cool dual monitor PC setup, so I won't be able to stream. So I'll be doing a pre-recorded transit video.